Makam is a system of melody types used in Turkish classical music. It provides a complex set of rules for composing and performance. Each makam specifies a unique intervallic structure and melodic development. Whether a fixed composition or a spontaneous composition, all attempt to follow the melody type. Geographic and cultural relations. Turkish makam's closest relatives include makam in Arab music and echoes in Byzantine music. The Turkish makams, the Arab makams and the Byzantine echoes related to the Greek texts and works of music that Arabs translated and developed from the musical theory of the Greeks. Some theories suggest the origin of the makam to be the city of Mosul in Iraq. Mullah Othman al-Musali, in reference to his city of origin, is said to have served in the Ottoman palace in Istanbul and influenced Turkish Ottoman music. More distant modal relatives include those of Central Asian Turkish music such as Uyghur music, Makam and Uzbek music, Shash makam. The raga of Indian classical music employs similar modal principles. Some scholars find echoes of Turkish makam in former Ottoman provinces of the Balkans. All of these concepts roughly correspond to mode in Western music, although the compositional rules vary. The rhythmic counterpart of makam in Turkish music is usul. Makam building blocks, commas and accidentals in Turkish music theory. One whole tone is divided into 9 commas. The following figure gives the comma values of Turkish accidentals. In the context of the Arab makam, this system is not of equal temperament. In fact, in the Western system of temperament, C-sharp and D-flat, which are functionally the same tone, are equivalent to 4.5 commas in the Turkish system, thus, they fall directly in the center of the line depicted above. Notes. Unlike in Western music, where the note C, for example, is called C regardless of what octave it might be in the Turkish system the notes are, for the most part, individually named. This can be seen in the following table, which covers the notes from middle C to the same note 2 octaves above. Intervals. The names and symbols of the different intervals is shown in the table below. Tetrachords and pentachords similar to the construction of makam noted above. A makam in Turkish music is built of a tetrachord built atop a pentachord, or vice versa. Additionally, most makams have what is known as a development, either above or below, or both the tonic and, or the highest note. There are 6 basic tetrachords, named sometimes according to the tonic note and sometimes according to the tetrachord's most distinctive note: Kaga, Basalik, Kurdi, Asak, Hikaz and Rast. There are also 6 basic pentachords with the same names with a tone appended. It is worth keeping in mind that these patterns can be transposed to any note in the scale, so that the tonic A of the Hikaz tetrachord, for example, can be moved up a major second, 9 commas to B, or in fact to any other note. The other notes of the tetrachord, of course, are also transposed along with the tonic, allowing the pattern to preserve its character. Basic makam theory. A makam, more than simply a selection of notes and intervals, is essentially a guide to compositional structure. Any composition in a given makam will move through the notes of that makam in a more or less ordered way. This pattern is known in Turkish as sayir, and there are 3 types of sayir: rising, falling, rising. As stated above, makams are built of a tetrachord plus a pentachord, and in terms of this construction, there are 3 important notes in the makam: the durak, which is the initial note of the first tetrachord, a pentachord and which always concludes any piece written in the makam; the guklu, which is the first note of the second tetrachord, a pentachord, and which is used as a temporary tonic in the middle of a piece. This use of the term dominant is not to be confused with the Western dominant. While the guklu is often the fifth scale degree, it can just as often be the fourth, and occasionally the third. The yedden, which is most often the penultimate note of any piece and which resolves into the tonic. This is sometimes an actual Western leading tone and sometimes a Western subtonic. Additionally, there are three types of makam as a whole: simple makams, almost all of which have a rising seir; transposed makams, which, as the name implies, are the simple makams transposed to a different tonic; compound makams, which are a joining of differing makams, a number in the hundreds; simple makams. Karga makam. This makam is thought to be identical to the Western C major scale, but actually it is misleading to conceptualize a makam through Western music scales. Karga consists of a Karga pentachord and a Karga tetrachord starting on the note gurdaniya. Thus, the tonic is C, the dominant G, and the leading tone B. The Karga makam, though, is very little used in Turkish music, and in fact has at certain points of history been attacked for being a clumsy and unpleasant makam that can inspire those hearing it to engage in delinquency of various kinds. Basilic makam. This makam has two basic forms. In the first basic form, it consists of a basilic pentachord plus a Kurdi tetrachord on the note Huseni and is essentially the same as the Western A minor. In the second, it consists of a basilic pentachord plus a Hikaz tetrachord on Huseni and is identical to a harmonic minor. The tonic is at the dominant Huseni, and the leading tone G sharp. Additionally, when descending from the octave towards the tonic, the sixth is sometimes sharpened to become F sharp, and the dominant flat and four commas to the note Hissa. All these alternatives are shown below. 1, 2, 1. Rast makam. Also see Rast. This much used makam, which is said to bring happiness and tranquility to the hearer, consists of a Rast pentachord plus a Rast tetrachord on the note Neva. This is labeled below. The tonic is G, the dominant D, and the leading tone F sharp. However, when descending from the octave towards the tonic, the leading tone is always flattened 4 commas to the note A-C-E-M, and thus a basilic tetrachord replaces the Rast tetrachord. This is labeled below. Additionally, there is a development in the makam's lower register, below the tonic, which consists of a Rast tetrachord on the note D. This is labeled below. 1. 2. In Turkey, the particular Muslim call to prayer, which occurs generally in early afternoon and is called ikindi, as well as the day's final call to prayer called jatsi, is often recited using the Rast makam. Asak makam. Also see bayati. This makam consists of an Asak tetrachord plus a basilic pentachord on the note Neva. This is labeled below. The tonic is at the dominant, here actually a subdominant, is D, and the leading tone, here actually a subtonic, is G. Additionally, there is a development in the makam's lower register, which consists of a Rast pentachord on the note D. This is labeled below. 1. In Turkey, the particular call to prayer, which occurs around noon and is called Ergal, is most often recited using the Asak makam. Acem makam siajim.